Welcome to Season 2 of Rush of Fear podcast, where we chat all things Halloween Horror Nights, Universal Orlando's premier scare event. Tonight for episode 18, we will be continuing our last episode where we talked about our house rankings, and we're going to this time talk about our scare zone rankings and also do a little bit more deep diving into the event as far as food and shows go. So let the mayhem begin.
What a rush of fear.
Hello, everybody. I am Michelle, your host for today. And with me, I have Maddie.
Hello, hello, hello.
And Kenneth.
Welcome. I don't know.
That was ominous.
I'm trying. Right now, I'm actively fighting a nap. So.
Aw. Well, you're either actively fighting sleep because we're recording super late at night, or actively fighting a nap.
Yeah.
Because we're recording at noon.
Midday.
That is our life, guys. That is our life. However, Maddie and Kenneth are a lot younger than me. They should have more energy than me, just saying.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
Heard. You guys are really busy people, so got it. All right. Well, as I said before, we're going to now pick up where we left off and start talking about the scare zones at HHN this year, as well as our rankings, and then merch, food, all the other fun stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's just walk into the park from the entrance and hit the first scare zone we come to. Which, Kenneth, which one would that be?
The horrors of Halloween.
Whoop, whoop.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about it.
Tell us about it? Okay, well, first,
Kenneth.
we are greeted by the Pumpkin Lord, our master of ceremonies, probably, I would say, for the event this year.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was really cool, sitting in his pumpkin throne. And then behind him, we had that great Horror Nights canopy with a million jack-o'-lanterns hanging from it, including everyone's favorite Lil Boo, and a few scare actors from the various scare zones and Horror Nights past wandering around. I never felt like there were that many, maybe like 5 or 6 people walking around.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, pretty simple.
A lot of stilt walkers.
Yeah. Oh, and we had these like totems, symbolic like things representing the different scare zones. So you had one with witch stuff, you had one with scarecrow stuff, one with candy stuff, and one with like, I don't know what the graveyard stuff would be, but there, yeah, all the scare zones were
stuff.
represented here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it seemed, well, it didn't seem, there was at least 1 to 2 scare actors from each one of the zones. So you had like one of the trick-or-treaters from Sweet Revenge. You had one of the demons from Conjure the Dark. You had a kind of skeleton reminiscent from the graveyard, Deadly Unrest. And then you had one of the scarecrow stilt walkers from Cursed Soil as well. So it was just a little representation of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was a really cool scare zone to me. I mean, it wasn't like one that I spent a lot of time in as far as just watching goes or expecting to get scares, but I really loved the Pumpkin Lord. He was super cool.
Yeah, I was actually talking to one of my scare actor friends who was in this zone yesterday about kind of the vibe this year and just how busy it was. We talked about it a little bit in our episode last week with like the houses and the wait times and the queuing and all of that. But for this episode in particular, for the scare zones, the zones were busy. The zones were busy. Like, I don't know if they oversold or if just because we lost a show or people weren't waiting in the house lines, which they must have because those wait times were high. But every time I went into a zone, and in particular this one, obviously, like this one is the hardest because it is the front of the park and herd mentality. Everyone just moves forward instead of going to the side down Hollywood. But like this zone was busy. As someone who does like scare zone photography, I did not spend a lot of time in this zone because the only place to stand where I wasn't getting trampled was the sidewalk. So it was busy. Like it was hard to just stand there and enjoy watching people get scared or watching the scare actors like do their thing or even watch the Pumpkin Lord unless you were all the way back against the wall of the studio store because there was just so many people stopping and taking pictures.
Well, there was also an entrance to a house right there next to Minions.
There was, yeah. That I don't know where they could have put another house instead of right there, but woof, yeah. Sometimes that house was real hard to get to.
Yeah, it was definitely a high traffic area, but beautiful. Anytime they put those pumpkins up in the trees, I love it. It's just gorgeous. So
absolutely. And this zone was very dark as well. Very, very, very dark zone. Darker than normal, I think, up in that front area. Am I wrong?
I don't know.
Yeah,
what was it last
pretty dark
year?
to me, but I think that was because they had to keep it dark in order to light up the pumpkins.
Oh, that
would be my concept.
That's fair.
Could be.
Not concept, but my whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Your theory.
Yes.
I'm so used to the Anarcade, I guess, up there.
Oh, true. Yeah.
But even last year, I guess the fire is what really illuminated a lot last year.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
And this zone, like, you know, I feel like we say it every year. It's just hard to spend any time in that entryway zone. Like, it feels like it's not really meant to be somewhere that you spend time. Like, you walk in, you pass through it, you kind of get a little taste of like, it's like your appetizer, you know, you're like, okay, we're here. It's Horror Nights. We might get a little bit of a scare, but we're kind of soaking in the vibe quickly before we move on to like the real stuff.
It felt shorter to me this year. Haven't they usually like expanded that zone out to where it at least goes to Rip Ride Rocket?
Not
to
always.
me, it didn't feel like it was that long. Like it felt like it was once you got under that archway, it was pretty much almost done. And
well,
so
it normally
just felt congested.
It normally doesn't start out so far.
Yeah, that's true too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because normally it starts kind of right at the entrance of Minions and then back to finish at the corner on the other side of the street. But this year with the Pumpkin Lord being so far out so that he could be a part of the opening ceremony, I think they just kind of shifted everything up a little bit.
Gotcha. I just wish that they would expand that whole zone out all the way down the road just about Jimmy Fallon. Like, it's a huge area. So why
maybe
not
without the construction? I think the construction really hindered that whole walkway this year. The construction of the Universal Monsters Cafe, because that
Monsters
also
Cafe and Shrek.
Yeah, so sad. So sad. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, cute zone overall. It's your normal entryway. You know, like you said, kind of taste of the event, but this time with the Pumpkin Lord. I thought that was a really cool addition. Like, to bring something back that everyone loved so much from last year so quickly into the next year, I thought was very, very fun. And he got to talk to us and he had fire, and it was pretty neat.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
So we will save our rankings until we've walked the park. Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So moving on past Jimmy Fallon, turning right towards Mummy, we come to Sweet Revenge, which was a really awesome scare zone to me that I had no idea what to expect on my hype list. But it turned out to be awesome in so many ways. So first of all, aesthetically, it was gorgeous. Like the trees all lit up in the park. Mm-hmm. And all of the lights and the decorations on the light poles, so cool. Larger than life, like float that they did not have to invest money in to create, but they're huge and they're just props. And then like all the cool little stations, I guess I could call it, along the side with like the heads and the jars, the candy jars, and which was a cool photo op. And then just the characters walking around were all not not scary trick-or-treaters, but like old school creepy trick-or-treaters, right? With like the weird old like masks. It was just a cool scare zone. I loved it.
Very homemade. It was, 1950s Halloween neighborhood festival turned deadly when the candy company put something in all the candy that makes the kids kill their parents. Like it was just silly, goofy fun, like lots of homemade style, old fashioned costumes. And, plenty of times I watched like some of the trick-or-treating kids like chase around like 2 or 3 of the parents, and everyone was just playing into it. And I thought it was just so fun. And the music was super good. Like,
so good.
It was so cute. And it tied into the tribute store, which I thought was awesome. Like that tribute store facade matched perfectly with this zone itself.
Yeah.
And it was so cute. Very, very well done. All the actors did a great job bringing it to life in the best way possible. And all around a good time. I loved it.
It was so cool when the first time I walked through it, it was daytime on our RIP tour. And in the daytime, I was like, oh, okay, this is all right. And then we went back around, Maddie and I went back around during our break time. And I was like, let's just take the long way and go through Sweet Revenge again. And that was the first time I'd seen it all lit up. And I was like, oh my God, this is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. So pretty.
Yeah.
It was like a little party in there. I will say, like, it felt the closest to like what Vamp 55 was since then. Like even Vamp 85 didn't feel like what Vamp 55 was, but this one kind of felt like that.
Yeah.
The music helped a lot for sure, but just kind of like people walking around, kind of making up their own stories within the larger story. Lots of room for the characters to, make up their own characters and, really just make it their own. And I love that kind of thing.
Yeah, it was so fun. The grandma and grandpa scare actors definitely like took the cake on just never breaking character. They were so funny. I don't know if you guys got to see them.
I didn't.
No, I don't remember that.
They were hilarious. Grandma was on one set and grandpa was on the other set, but somehow they had like made their characters connect. And they were just so funny. Like grandpa, they would walk around so slow. Like it was just really cute. I really liked it. It was fun.
Were they like looking for each other? I wonder, or were they kind of like
that? I never stayed around long enough to get, but like there was no grandpa to the grandma on that set, and there was no grandma to the grandpa on that set. So potentially that would have been funny if they were like looking for each other, but obviously like they can't find each other because they're not out at the same time. That's funny.
That's what, if I was playing a grandpa and the other cast had a grandma, I would have been like, "Have you seen my wife? I'm worried about her."
So cute. And they had the kids on tricycles, and they had the one girl carrying the wagon. Like, so fun.
It was.
Oh, and the kid in the wagon was the Charlie from the Trick or Treat Scare Zone.
Yes.
The one. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, the one who was throwing up all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
It was good. It was cute. I liked it.
Yeah, that was a cool scare zone. It highly exceeded my expectations.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. All right, moving on down the road. What do we come to next, Maddie?
Conjure the Dark.
Conjure the Dark.
Yeah.
Very mixed reviews amongst the others over at UUOP.
Really?
Mixed reviews?
Really? Well, mixed reviews meaning my opinion was very different than the other 3.
Okay.
Goodness gracious. I loved this zone. This is where I ended the event. I stayed in this zone for the last set of each one of the casts. So it was great. I didn't spend as much time in it in the beginning of the event, but then there was one night where I was struggling with my camera, and I just stayed longer in that area than I planned to. And it was so fun. And then after that, I was like, this is great. And I just kept going back and going back. But I thought it was fantastic. the costume design and the storyline and the makeup and the prosthetics. I mean, I've only been going for 5 years, but in my 5 years, I've never seen a scare zone with that much work put into it. Like those makeup people in the back they were working on full drive, 4-wheel drive all the way in. It was incredible.
Their makeup was awesome, which was one of the reasons I really liked this scare zone.
Yeah, it was crazy. And the sorceress, she was up on stage the entire time during her set. There was no breaks for her. She couldn't go, take a snooze in a boo hole real fast. So she was also on full drive the entire time as well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was fantastic. So much fun.
I only saw it a handful of times, but we did stop and actually purposely watch the whole show.
Yeah.
And I liked it. I thought the sorceress was really cool and engaging. And then when all of her demon people kind of gathered in the front and then came rushing out back into the crowd was very cool. And like you said, the makeup was so intricate. It was, and like the lighting package in that zone was really pretty.
Yes, absolutely.
UUOP hosts, the other three, did not like this zone whatsoever.
Why? That's so sad.
Yep, they hated it.
It's weird to be like that because like I didn't love it, but I liked like a lot of the masks a lot. There's one mask that was like covered in eyeballs. I think like it was really really weird looking and gross, and I loved that. The music in this zone was, pumping and like getting me all riled up. Cause this is what like old Horror Nights felt like, was that zone. And the music in there, it was like that. It kind of felt like metal with like fiddles. And like, I love that,
Metal with fiddles.
Metal with fiddles. It's a new genre.
It was there in the zone. It was like, Celtic metal.
That's fair. That's fair.
And the boo holes were good. Like some of those scares were good. I don't know. I never felt like I wanted to hang around very long in that zone. I would stay and watch a couple of the things. I only got to see the like virgin sacrifice once. And we actually had to, like, I was with a friend who knew someone who worked in the zone. He was like, "Did they ever kill that girl?" And he was like, let me make that happen. So we watched that happen, and that was pretty cool. But yeah, it was good. I liked all the set pieces. I liked all the costumes. It just felt like there wasn't enough going on in there for me, but what was there was good.
That's fair. Yeah.
I liked how they opened it up. Usually that scare zone is very claustrophobic, but they moved the stage back and it worked much better.
Yeah, it was definitely the least congested San Fran scare zone that I can remember.
Yeah. It really was, yeah. They made a great decision with that.
Yeah.
So I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Yay!
Well, good. All right, so now we go all the way around the lagoon. And Kenneth, what do we come to next?
Now we get Scarecrow Cursed Soil in Central Park. Yes. And this is a sequel in ways to the Scarecrow The Reaping Haunted House that we had in 2017. Mm-hmm. And I think it lives up to that name of the original house. I thought this zone was awesome. Excuse Marty in the back. He's starved for attention.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved this zone. The music was cool. That like country, almost like Deliverance vibe that I feel like it gave. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that claustrophobic environment of Central Park definitely works to kind of help recreate what that house felt like, which was also a very claustrophobic house. Yeah, I really liked this zone. And that barn was pretty cool.
That barn was amazing. I remember before Scare Zones got announced, but they were obviously building things in the park. I kept going, and they hadn't added anything. They had just added, like, they had put up the framework, and I was like, what is this going to be? Like, I have no inkling of what could possibly be going on. And then they built the barn, and I was like, oh, cool, a barn. Like, you're going to get to, walk through something, and like something will be covering you. But they put scare actors up there, and they added the car and the decorations to the front of the barn. It was so
and there
cool.
was the outhouse, and like the one little, I don't know if it was an outhouse or if it was just like a thing with a fence on it that was like one of the lattice fences like they had in Wicked Growth last year. That was all just, equally effective in the zone as it was in the house.
Yes, with the rubber bands and this character popping out. I loved it. I thought it was a great zone. I mean, there's nothing they can do about it because it's just a crowded event, but I wish that this zone wasn't so small, because the scare actors, they obviously have to like stay on the sides or like be brave and stand in the middle of that sidewalk as people walk through them. But I would love to see this zone fleshed out into like Hollywood Boulevard or even New York. I think that would be pretty cool. And just have the grandiose of the zone, which I think it gave, but in a space that actually fit kind of the idea of it. The crow scare actors were great. The corn scare actors were great. I felt so bad for them because I'm sure for the entire event, they just heard people saying that corn TikTok audio, which woof, I felt so bad. But it was a very, very, very cool zone. I liked it a lot.
It was a cool zone. It wasn't my favorite that has ever been in that Central Park area. Usually the Central Park area is my favorite zone, especially since they started the whole pumpkin stuff in the trees. So maybe it was just me missing that aspect of it. Like, it's usually very lit up and gorgeous. And obviously that's something I like because I talk about it a lot when it comes to scare zones. But I wasn't, so apparently when a bunch of people went through this, it was very foggy. The times that I went through it, it wasn't very foggy at all. So I guess that would have been super cool if it had been as foggy as I've heard.
It was very foggy.
Yeah, it was never foggy when I went through it.
Even during the daytime, they were pumping that fog. They right at the front behind the car, they had two fog machines, one pointed outwards and then one pointed back into the barn, but they would go off at the same time. So you would like walk past the car into a cloud, and the cloud would continue until you got out from the barn, and you were like, "Oh my God!"
Oh, that would have been cool. No, I didn't not experience that, and I wasn't really. I was like, "Why are those scare actors up there?" Because they weren't really. You couldn't see them. Like, it was so dark, and they didn't have any kind of lighting on them whatsoever. And I was like, I can't even tell what you are. Like, you're obviously not scary because I can't even really see you. So those scare actors felt like weird to me, and underutilized. And then, but the one that I loved was the scarecrow as you're walking out next to Cafe La Bamba, the scarecrow that looked like it was just hanging on the fence right there. And you couldn't tell if it was a real person or not. And so, people would get up super close to it to like take pictures, and then it would just move, and it was a person. That was a cool scare.
Yeah, that one was really, really, really cool. Yeah. I liked that one a lot.
Yeah.
As far as the scare actors on top of the barn, I do agree. I wish they had a little bit more light on them. That was my one gripe across all the scare zones was just lighting this year. Sweet Revenge was obviously very lit up because of the like lights of the festival, but all the other scare zones were very, very dark. Conjure the Dark, there was a very blue purple light on the stage, which like for photography's sake, not the best, but at least that had a little bit of light. But the rest of the zone was pitch black. I mean, you could not see the cart with the decorations on the back against the water. Like, Horrors of Halloween, a very dark zone as well. Graveyard, very dark. This one really had no lighting in it whatsoever, which is neat as a guest. From a scare actor perspective, though, it seems a little terrifying.
I wish it was terrifying, but it wasn't to me. Like, it needed a little
No, I'm saying like from a scare actor perspective of being in a pitch black zone, no one knows if because it's pitch black, but it's also foggy. So people are just kind of going through and like to me, it would seem as though there'd be a lot of injuries that happened in that zone. Guest and scare actor wise, I guess. I tripped a couple of times, but if you are looking at the barn, the scare actor up on top of the risers on the right-hand side had a trigger, but the one on the other side did not. So they did their best trying to like swipe down and like go with the trigger. But yeah, I will say if they had had a little bit of light on them, they would have had it would have been a lot better. But I do think it was cool that they were at least up there. That was neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a bonus Easter egg for anyone who decided to look up.
Right.
Because I mean, Michelle is right. Like there was nothing really like drawing your attention up there, but they were up there, and that's cool.
They were up there.
I think one of them was like a coyote guy, a coyote boy. And then I think the other one was, like a rat or a weasel.
See, you couldn't even tell.
Guy.
That's my point. Like, you don't even know what they were.
Right. The crow costume, though, was super cool. Like, if I was a scare actor, I would have loved to have been in that crow costume with the beak and the fingers and the cloak that had all the feathers on it. It was really neat looking.
Now, listen, how cool would it have been for them to have run like a zip line across the two platforms up there and had a crow that all of a sudden opens its wings and like flies above you?
Yeah.
Dude, now that would have been awesome.
Path of the Wicked style, flying monkeys.
Oh my God.
If only.
Can you imagine like all of a sudden it just lighting up and it flies over you? Oh, yes.
I would pay good money.
To talk to us before they design these things. Damn it.
Oh my gosh. Goodness
all right.
gracious.
So last, but very much so not least, we come to Hollywood, which is where we find Graveyard Deadly Unrest.
Oh, yeah.
So giant graveyard, ghosts coming out of the graves, walking around in various forms. The two, Maddie, you can explain this better because you explained it to me, but the two brother, what were they up there on the stage? What were they considered? Angels?
I don't know what they were. I know one of them was Brother Death and one of them was Brother Sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were gorgeous when they opened up their wings. That was very cool.
Yeah.
I was a little confused at first because I was like, why are there people walking around in suits? It's like, that's not very scary to me. That she was like, Michelle, they're dead. Like they just came out of their coffin. So that's what they were buried in. I was like, oh, okay.
I think from what I can deduce, they were like the wanderers. Like it's not the afterlife, but it's like and not purgatory, but they're just kind of like stuck. Right? Kind of tell me if I'm wrong. But
are you talking about Death and Sleep?
No,
like the people walking around.
The people walking around.
Idea.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if we're in a graveyard, then they were buried. But I don't know if whatever. So they're spirits in a graveyard.
Yeah.
The statue was very cool. I loved the ghost scare actor that had like the ghost thing on top of his head with the glowing eyes.
The little skeleton backpack guy.
Yeah, that was cool. And I spent a good bit of time watching the twins too interact.
Oh yeah, the twins were crazy. The statue is like my favorite thing at Horror Nights. What else? I don't know. Oh, there was like the ghillie suit up against one of the crypts. There's just so much cool stuff in this zone. The music was very haunting and like creepy and slow. Yeah, very atmospheric zone. I think a lot of times Hollywood goes for a more chaotic energy, and this one was a more like eerie, creepy vibe that I really appreciated and I think worked really well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It was gorgeous. Even from the setup before things had been announced, I knew that this one was going to be something very, very special. And it turned out to be very, very special. I'm going to sound like Stefan again from SNL, but it had everything. It had people up on the stage and they had a trigger that was just, it was very ominous and like, overwhelming. And halfway through the run, the scare actors, whenever they would do the trigger, like Death and Sleep, some of the scare actors would come up and they would stand in front of him with their arms out. And then at a certain point in their speech, they would like turn around and run into the crowd, which is that's always so cool. Like when the scare actors, start doing these things just for fun, but then they become kind of tradition for them and it's scary for us. Like it's so cool. The two brothers, their costumes were unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like the wings, and the one had is it a scythe? The stick with the curved knife.
Yeah, I think that's a scythe.
The other one had a big sword, and I liked the twins. Unbelievable. I hope that they got, bonus upon bonus, because how they managed to constantly know what the other one was going to do. Like, I don't know if they planned it. I don't know if they rehearsed it, but they were always on the top of their game. It was so cool.
It was.
The statue scare was incredible. We need more statue scares in Horror Nights. I just think that is such a cool kind of, it's so simple, but it's so effective.
Yeah.
And yeah, the ghillie suit men and the backpack skeleton guys, it was so fun. It was such a fun zone. And that was one, it was not usually that busy, which was very, very nice. And it was nice to just kind of stand there and watch everything going on, because all the scare actors were doing something every single moment that you were in there. It was fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't a zone where like you would see performers tiring themselves out, because they're all moving more slowly for the most part. So they could like move more because they're moving less in a weird way, But yeah, loved that zone. Loved it. And like we said last time for Legends Collide, not that it really, has anything to do with guest reaction, but this also did win Scare Zone of the Year.
Props to them.
Yeah.
Yay.
Well, while you're going, Kenneth, why don't you give us your ranking?
Oh, okay. So I actually, my Scare Zone hype list is almost exactly the same as my final rankings.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So I think the only ones that swapped were number 2 and 3. But for number 5, I have Conjure the Dark. Again, didn't dislike it, but I think that it, I don't know. I just never felt like wanting to spend any time there. Number 4, Horrors of Halloween. I think the Pumpkin Lord is really what put this one over Conjure the Dark. Number 3, Sweet Revenge. Number 2, Scarecrow, Cursed Soil. And number 1, I have Graveyard, Deadly Unrest.
Nice. And Maddie, what do you have?
My hype list changed a lot. I started with Scarecrow being 5, Sweet Revenge 4, Conjure 3, Graveyard 2, and Horrors of Halloween 1. And I ended up with Horrors of Halloween 5, Scarecrow 4, Graveyard 3, Sweet Revenge 2, and Conjure the Dark 1.
Wow.
Yeah, it changed up a lot.
Mine is actually very similar to yours, both in hype and in my final. So my number 5 is Scarecrow. My number 4 is Horrors of Halloween. 3, Graveyard, Deadly Unrest. 2, Conjure the Dark. And 1, Sweet Revenge. So on my hype list, I had Sweet Revenge at number 5. And it actually ended up taking my number 1. So
nice.
Yeah.
Good
Very
stuff.
good.
Yeah. Yay!
Yay!
Scare zones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, let's talk about Nightmare Fuel Wildfire. I only saw it one time, and as Maddie just told me, so did she. Even though she went to every night of the event.
Yeah.
So,
I think I saw it 4 times.
Oh.
Maybe 3. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice. So for those of you who saw Nightmare Fuel last year, it was similar. There were some similar aspects, but I wouldn't say it was exactly the same. And definitely the addition of the actual Fuel girls, because last year they weren't able to come over because of COVID. So having that actual group here really, in my opinion, stepped things up a huge notch. They were so good. So good. And it really did keep my attention the whole time, even though I knew the storyline. Some of the tricks were different, and I still can't figure out how they do it. Like Krista recorded part of it. I don't know if she's allowed to do that or not, but she did. And we keep rewinding the video over and over again in like slow-mo, and we still can't figure out how they did it. But I enjoyed it. I for sure enjoyed it. Maddie, why did you only choose to see it once?
I saw it as part of media just so that we had seen everything with Chris. And I mean, I only saw Nightmare Fuel last year, I think a total of 3 times. I saw it on opening night, or the second night with Kenneth, and then I saw it again with Lee and Tracy, and I think that was it. I only really saw it twice. I'm still so burnt out from my time watching Academy of Villains, and I don't like the mosh pit style of waiting to go in. If it was like an actual queue, that would be one thing, but the whole mosh pit and everyone kind of sprinting to go get seats, and I don't know. The storyline is great. To me, the storyline was the exact same as last year. They just had a couple of switches, like you said, Michelle. But a lot of the dances, like the dance was the same for most of them. The songs were the same for a majority of them. They did a great job. Like all those dancers are fantastic. The Fugors are fantastic. I don't feel as though my time is worth waiting 30, 40 minutes to go see another 20, 30-minute show and then be packed like sardines to then leave. But that is just me personally. I think the show is great. I just did not want to go see it.
Understood. How about you, Kenneth? What did you think?
Nightmare Fuel, I think this year was... you're right. It wasn't exactly the same. I think before I saw it, people were telling me, oh, it's exactly the same show as last year. And it's not. The opening magic trick was the same. The overall storyline, I guess, is the same, if you can call it a storyline. And the finale was like the same idea with a different magic trick.
Right.
And then all of the numbers in the middle were different. I felt that they were a downgrade from the last year's show. Maybe a lot of that has to do with the music choices. I felt the music choices were weaker than last year's. I liked last year's soundtrack a lot better. And I think because of that, I felt the show was better last year. But I mean, it was still fun. I liked the guy in the hula hoop doing like rolling around. That was cool. But yeah, overall,
I had so much anxiety waiting for him to chop his finger off. Oh my God.
Overall, like it was fine. You know, I saw last year's show a lot more because it was like exciting and new. And this year I only saw it every time I was with somebody who had never seen it. And so I'd be like, oh, you haven't seen it? All right. Yeah, let's watch it then. But like, it was never my necessarily I never wanted to really go watch it again. I just thought it was all right.
Fair enough.
I kind of felt that way about the shows in general this year, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know that I would have purposely gone to see it again either. Like I would have Academy of Villains.
Yeah.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I did not get to see the Lagoon show Ghoulish.
Oh, Ghoulish. Yeah. See, I thought Ghoulish was okay.
You guys are going to have to take the lead on that one because it was damaged by the hurricane by the time I got there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. It was obviously not the original Marathon of Mayhem, which we all know is the best thing that has ever happened ever.
Yeah.
But I personally liked this Lagoon show more than last year's Lagoon show. I thought that for me, the vibe this year for the scare zones all connected. They connected together in the storyline of like Halloween, it's our 31st year, which then connected into the tribute store, which also connected to the first part of the Ghoulish show, kind of before we got into like the weekend section of it. But I thought it was so cute. It was very vintagey Halloween. I was a big like book reader as a kid. So the whole like, okay, follow along with the story that's, you know, talking to you on the tape and then switch the tape when you hear this sound to part 2. Like that to me was super, super fun. And the vintagey feeling of Halloween was awesome. I love that they brought in the weekend to part of it because that's kind of what we wanted when we were talking about it originally. I thought it was a great time. I only saw it twice, once on opening night and then that other time for your first time, Kenneth.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, like Michelle said, it was damaged by the hurricane. So it did not come back, sadly enough. But I thought it was very, very cute. A good time.
I also enjoyed all the vintagey vibe of it. Like the record and storybook follow along thing was cool. Definitely had a big smile on my face the first time I saw it and like saw that that's kind of what they were doing. It just felt to me a little like they tried to make the biggest show they could using like license free, like generic Halloween visuals. Which they did a good job of, but it's not necessarily what I would have wanted necessarily. I really hated the skeletons in the closet part. I really didn't like anything about that. I thought the video on that part looked really cheap and stupid. Of like just like 3 people in like Walmart Halloween skeleton costumes, dancing in front of like a black wall. Like, I don't know, something about that. Just like, I was like, this feels really cheap. And I didn't like the song. I also didn't like the song on that section at all.
Goodness.
But the rest of it I thought was like cute, fun. I wasn't mad about it. You know, it wasn't as disappointing to me as, like last year's Marathon of Mayhem Carnage Factory was the first time I saw it. And that eventually did grow on me to where I did like it a good deal. This one, I didn't get to watch it enough times to where it was able to kind of grow in that way. So it kind of started in like a meh area and it ended just above meh. You know, like I was like, it's okay. It's fun. Like I'll keep watching it because it's easy to get into, you know, and like you can go get some food and drinks and like go get a spot and just watch this thing for a little bit while you're, waiting for the next thing to do, I guess. But like, I don't know, it was okay. Like the shows were really underwhelming to me this year. And overall, I think my least favorite part of the event this year.
All right.
Fair enough.
So I'm not sure how I feel about the fact that I didn't see it.
It was worth seeing for sure. But like, I don't know. It was fine.
You can watch it on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the shows. Now let's talk food. Overall, of course, we're not going to go through every item like we have in past episodes, but like, what did you guys think about the food offerings overall for this year's event?
I thought they were quite delicious. Everything that I tried, I enjoyed. I think there's only like one thing that I only had once because it was just underwhelming at that point. But everything else that I had was fairly delicious. I think my top 3 were the Little Boo not the Little Boo one, the spicy turkey and butternut squash bao bun, the Tombstone cake pop, and the Reuben fries. Those were my top 3.
Oh, I never got to try the Reuben fries.
When my girlfriend was here, I was like, what do you want to eat for food? She was like, I don't know. What do you want to eat? And I was like, perfect. We're going to get Reuben fries. I was like, I haven't had them yet. And I finally know where they are because someone told me the secret. So if you like them, great. If you don't, more for me. Let's go.
I feel like the food was like the star of this year's event to me. I loved everything. And even if I didn't like the food itself, I just loved that they were doing so much with it. and trying so many different things. Like, this is the big takeaway to me of Halloween Horror Nights this year was like, we need more of this kind of thing all the time, every year.
Yeah.
There was a lot. Like, it was
So much.
everywhere.
I think my top 3 were the maggot covered cheese dog, the petrified rat tails, and probably, it's tough for a number 3. I mean, the Lil Boo Bao bun, the spicy pumpkin bun was really good. And I mean, the fried PB&J is just like all-time great food item in the world.
Fair.
And Lee is wrong.
I know. I was going to say Lee thinks it's the nastiest thing in the world.
I bought one specifically so Lee would try it, and he was like, "I don't like this at all." And I was like, "You can leave now.
Yeah,
go away."
He said it just tasted like oil, like just grease.
Oh, he got a bad one then because they were delicious.
No, he didn't. It was delicious. He got a good one. I tried it. I ate the rest of it.
Oh, sad face. I haven't listened to that episode yet, so I'm not sure. I'm very behind on all of my podcast listenings. But yeah, it was great. The only nitpick I have for the food this year is the lines. I don't know what happened.
Oh, so long.
They were very long, but they also were not organized. And I don't know if it's because of how close together some of the food tents were. I'm thinking specifically the ones up in Gramercy Park, but like they were so close and there wasn't enough space for a lot of queue. So then people got confused and it was just, I don't know. I don't know what happened. The food lines were unfortunately very long. But the food at the booths were so good. And this year, I believe there were more beverages to try as well. Because in years previous, it's just been like the 2 to 3 like pre-mixed cocktails that are everywhere. But this year, almost every single booth had its own specialty cocktail.
Yeah, I think in the past you couldn't get the specialty cocktails at the food tents. Well, also in the past there wasn't as much food. Like, I think last year was the first year that like there was this level of food at Halloween Horror Nights.
This was Epcot Food and Wine Festival.
It
HHN.
was.
Yeah,
They even had their own lighting packages on these buildings.
Yeah.
Last year's HHN was the first one where that was the case. And so I don't remember if the variety of drinks was already there or if that's new for this year. Because I feel like Mardi Gras this past year was the first time that it was like, oh, each thing has its own drink, you know?
Yes.
And so they carried that over to Horror Nights.
I think they did, yeah, because last year it was like the Bog Slime you could only get at one food tent, but then they had the Electric Death and something else as like the premixed cocktails that you could get.
Oh, the Poison Tea Party.
Yeah, you could get those everywhere, but each booth this year had their own, and I think that is so fun.
Yeah.
I wish that they would somehow be able to implement mobile ordering at the food booths so that it doesn't cause such big congestion wherever there's a food tent.
Yeah, I don't know. How does Epcot do it? They have two sides of theirs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's all the same way, just random food booths and long lines.
But their food booths are more spread out, I think, which helps. And yeah, you're right. A lot of them have queues on both sides of the thing, which, you know, in the Gramercy Park food area is not possible because they have like 4 little booths right next to each other.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a matter of there's so many of them and they're all spread out. So like none of them get that packed.
Fair. The only thing I could think of is like, especially in that Gramercy Park area, making one central area to purchase said food, like 5 cash registers. And then you walk up with your receipt to the specific food booth that you bought like a food court style kind of. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. That area is just funky.
Yeah. Either way, they need to think it through differently.
Yeah.
Because they do definitely get or more registers. I mean, something, I don't know, but it was a busy event this year.
Very, very busy. But yeah, food and drink, 10 out of 10, would recommend. I loved it all. Num, num,
Yeah.
num, 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 num.
I didn't get to try a lot of the food booth items. I did, however, do scare actor dining, which was it was cool. It wasn't as good as I've had in the past when it was at Monsters Cafe. The food was not that great. I mean, it was dinner. You know, it wasn't anything where I was not going to eat it, but it definitely wasn't like anything to write home about. And I was slightly disappointed in the amount of scare actors that were there. So I actually had a lot more scare actor interaction on our RIP tour in Cafe La Bamba than I did at Scare Actor Dining.
Interesting.
They had like a stationary area set up for Michael Myers. They had a stationary area set up for Legends Collide. I don't know if it was always the Mummy or if they rotated characters, but during my dinner, the Mummy was there. And then actually walking around the restaurant, while I was there were only 3 scare actors in the entire restaurant. And we didn't see any of them come to our table within the first hour, except for one of the mask maker. Now, my interaction with the mask maker was actually very cool. So if you do your research and you know how to interact with them, it can be a cool experience. But then, like, I didn't see the other 2 scare actors at all until we were about to leave. So I don't know. It was just weird. It definitely wasn't scary. Like in the past, I felt like there were always scare actors walking up behind us, trying to scare us, peeking over our shoulder, waiting for us to turn around. There were lots of opportunities for random selfies and things like that. And this time there just wasn't. So
Interesting.
It was interesting. Would I do it again? Yes. Because I loved like being able to walk over and hang out with Michael Myers. That was cool.
How was the food?
I mean, so they had like, it was just weird offerings. They had pizza, and then they had like little cups of hummus and carrot and celery sticks and little fruit cups, and they had the little burger slider, like meatball slider thing. They had the hot chicken wings, and then they also had like a roast beef kind of carving station thing as well. It was just
so
like
strange.
really weird items. And then the dessert, they only offered 3 little, like they had like a little macaron thing and a gelato and one other thing. I don't remember what. I don't know. It was just weird food.
Strange. See, before the event, a couple of friends of mine wanted to do scare actor dining for someone's birthday, but they have allergies and like one of them's vegan, yada, yada, yada. So I stood in line at guest services once scare actor dining was announced to ask them what the menu would be, thinking that they would have an answer, which it's fine. But they told me that it was just going to be the La Bamba food. Or not La Bamba, the Louis food. So anything that was served during the day at Louis would be served during scare actor dining, but just buffet style.
Nope.
But interesting. Okay.
Pizza, yes, but pizza, that's it. That was it.
That's so strange. All right, well.
Yeah. Only vegetarian items would have been like the hummus, and then they had like a salad.
Interesting.
That pretty much would have been it. Fruit. Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. So, but again, I would do it again. I'll do it every year that they have it.
Fair. I wonder if it's going to be in Louis again next year, or if it's going to be in whatever takes over Monsters Cafe.
I don't want it to be in Louis. I did not like that setting.
It was interesting to have it there for the sake of Stay and Scream, because Stay and Scream in New York was also set up very differently this year than it had been years previous. But the line for scare actor dining kind of wrapped the side of the building by the bathrooms. And then when we tried to get in line for a house that was also over there, the team member was very confused as to why we were walking over, because we didn't have tickets to scare actor dining. And I was like, no, the house line starts down there by the bathrooms. And they were like, well, you can't go down there unless you're scare actor dining. And we're like, but the house line's back there. So it was just, it was very strange. And no, we weren't mad about it. We were just like, okay, no worries. Like, we will wait off to the side until the line gets up here and we can hop in line. Like, it is okay. But like, it wasn't,
There's
I don't
a
know.
line to get in the line now.
Right. Yeah. So it felt very in the way, I guess, is the only right way to put it. Yeah, it was strange, but it is what it is. It's in the past.
I didn't like that setting at all. First of all, there's a lot of natural light in that restaurant, and so it didn't add to like the scare feel. Scare actor dining is you're supposed to be a little bit uneasy, right? Like that's part of the fun, and there was nothing uneasy about it. The whole setting, it was way too open, way too airy, way too bright.
Interesting.
And they just did not have enough scare actors walking around.
Interesting. Well, maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. Who's to say?
Anything else you guys wanted to chat about? Merchandise?
Yeah.
Merchandise. Good merch this year.
A good merch and a lot of merchandise. I mean, once again, I've only been going for 5 years, but dude, so much merchandise. Every single room in that tribute store had specific merchandise to the theme, and there was so much of it. So much of it, in fact, that it's still on sale in the parks at 70% off in different locations.
Wow.
Yeah, oh my goodness gracious. It was cute though.
And they still can't get rid of it.
I know. It's from what I've seen, it's a lot of the screamers that brand the screamers. So the jean jacket and the plushies and the Frankenstein popcorn buckets and then that button-up shirt that had all the screamers on it. Universal's version of the Funko Pop. Yeah, but it was so cute. I got more shirts this year than I have ever in my 5 years of going.
Wait, Frankenstein popcorn bucket is 70% off?
I think so.
If it is, I might need one.
Okay.
Just saying.
That seems like a popcorn bucket that should always be available, doesn't it? Like Frankenstein is not just for Halloween. He's a universal. He's like Jaws, He's always appropropriate.
And he was really cute too. And he made more sense as a popcorn bucket than any Disney popcorn bucket I've ever seen ever. Because his head fully opened up and then it was just a circle, a deep circle for popcorn.
You know what's wrong with the popcorn bucket, though, is the opening should be like you lift off the top of his head instead of the little door on the back. That's where they messed up. It should open up like you're revealing his brain.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
Yeah.
Funny, haha.
I don't know why they didn't make it that way.
Because again, they don't talk to us.
We're so smart. But yeah, the merchandise was great. The tribute store was super, super cute.
It was cute, yeah.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. And the All Hallows Eve boutique was so well themed for Halloween this year as well. That vintage Halloween feel is just so chef's kiss.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, Kenneth, do we want to talk about the park-wide loop?
The music loop, it was an interesting change of pace. I don't know that I loved it. I liked some of the songs on it, but I felt like I was at Volcano Bay more than Horror Nights, and it was weird.
I agree. I don't like that it had words. I think because
another way out.
I have been singing that since the event ended. I cannot get it out of my head. It's all I think about. And I really loved in 28 when they just had that overall synth track going, and then last year it was just kind of like rock music but with no words. I think the words really it was so strange. I don't know how to put it, but I just didn't. It was weird. It was weird to walk from an area where it's playing the park-wide loop into something like Deadly Unrest and go from so many words and a chorus to thunderstorm spooky grave noises. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you could kind of still hear the din of the chorus going on in the background. I don't know. But yeah, I will never get that song out of my head.
I honestly did not pay attention one bit to it.
Really?
Really.
You weren't there long enough.
And I guess I wasn't.
It was a lot.
Another Way Out is the new Send Me an Angel, which I also didn't recognize that was a thing. Because Send Me an Angel, that was the year I was in Invasion, so I was just listening to that music all run. So I never heard Send Me an Angel, but man, Another Way Out is, I think it's going to haunt the nightmares of Horror Nights fans forever now.
Yeah. There was
It's a
another.
good song. I like the song.
Right. There was another one that had a very distinct chorus that I just kept repeating over and over again. Something with a, I don't think it was a chainsaw.
Another Way Out is the only song I remember. And I remember there was another one that was like very surf rocky. It was like very surf rock, psychobilly.
Sticks and Stones by the Creep Show is the other one.
Well, and the Creep Show also did Another Way Out. So the Creep Show is like the new HHN band.
Right. And Graveyard Girlfriend.
I don't know that one.
I'll send you this playlist that I just found.
Okay. Is it the whole park loop?
Yeah, it's the park-wide loop.
Good. Yeah. I need it.
Goodness.
You need it, even though you hated it.
I didn't hate it. It's just it didn't feel like Horror Nights, but I liked it. Yeah, it was just a new flavor of Horror Nights park loop music that I just am not used to yet.
Yeah.
But I liked the music. I just was like, I don't feel like I'm at HHN with this music on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot slower than normal. And it didn't give for like the 31st year when everything is relating to Halloween. I wanted more Halloween-y, spooky. There's like a couple specific, like if you on TikTok, if you're making a video and you type in Halloween to the sounds, it brings up just kind of like spooky Halloween music. And there's like 6 of them that I always hear. And those ones would have been great. It was just kind of like, it's cute, spooky, Halloween-esque music that doesn't have lyrics, but it would put you in the direct, proper mood to walk into the horrors of Halloween and then to walk into Sweet Revenge. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. To me, there will never be a better park-wide loop song than Viper Force, which is the do-do-do-do.
Yes.
That is the best. If you're walking around and you hear that song and you don't like go into an air guitar solo, like I don't know how you resist. You know, it's so good.
28 had the best music. The music for the park-wide loop, the music for Anarcade. Like it was so freaking good. So good. I don't even remember any of the songs from last year's park-wide loop. It just didn't really.
Last year, yeah. Well, it was like metal. It was like
it was just basic metal, right?
I think so. It was just like standard, like just heavy music. Yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Oh,
you know?
Goodness.
It kind of like it should kind of just disappear into the background, right? Like you don't want it to stand out too much unless it's Viper Force.
Right.
And that's what's happening with me. I'm like, I have no idea what you guys are talking about because it literally just blends into the background for me. But then again, I don't live in Orlando and get to go more than a couple times a year. So
Fair.
I have something to do with it.
Fair.
Yeah.
I'm all the way out.
All right. On that note, I think that will do it for this episode and for HHN 31, guys.
No.
The season is
It's over.
It is over. We are gearing up for the holidays. We've got our UUOP Weekender coming up in a few weeks. So if you guys also listen to us over there, then be sure to grab your tickets for that before the sales close. So fun stuff, and looking forward to next year. We have a good bit of followers now with Rush of Fear, so who knows? Maybe we'll do some kind of a mini meetup, or maybe try to get together some type of an RIP tour with listeners, or who knows what fun stuff we can plan.
Yeah. We already have our HHN 32 first announcement. It's Chucky. We'll talk about it later. Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah. Oh my God. We have to do a whole episode about that now. Yikes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were begging for announcements last year. Now we've already got our first announcement for next year.
Too soon.
Too great. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening, and we hope to see you soon in, well, it's not the fog now. What is it going to be? In the
snow.
Fake snow. Soon in the fake snow.
In Earl the Squirrel's bar in City Walk.
Yes. But until next time, maybe next month, who knows? For more content, be sure to check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/rushofear and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at rushofearpod.
For more general Universal Orlando Resort news, check out our friends and UUOP Network hosts over at the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast, wherever podcasts can be found. And for all your travel needs, especially not HHN because it's over, especially Christmas time and the Weekender, like we talked about, reach out to our host and sponsor, Port Key Vacations. Visit Michelle's new website, which is portkeyvacations.com. Just click the link on the Port Key and submit your no obligation quote request to begin planning your next magical vacation. As always, be sure to check out Kenneth's band Pangolin everywhere you listen to music online, and follow them on social media at PangolinFL. And yes, please. And you can find me at the UUOP TikTok. I am working on new content, guys. I swear to you, it's coming. UUO Pod, POD. So you'll find me there on TikTok creating videos. We're going to say at least once a week.
Yep. And for all of those compliments I get on my socials with Port Key Vacations, I have Maddie to thank for that as well, because she rocks. So
hi.
Awesome. Well, thank you for listening, everyone. The podcast has come to an end. Now get out.
Another way out.
Maddie, you have got to leave that in.
Yep, that's staying.
Okay, good.